In this video, I am going to talk to you specifically about how to do the deep work that you need to do to get the results that you want, whether it's in your business, whether it's in your life, whether it's in your relationship, or just whether it's in you. And what I want to help you do is help you succeed, period. I was in a coaching session recently with one of my clients, and I realized that I was speaking to her about something that I have a clear understanding of, but she could not get the concept. It's a very often used process, but very little discussed. It's the process of how you go from decision to intention to action to manifestation. And I wrote a book called Deep Work that is coming out at the end of this month that specifically helps you understand how to do the deep dive to make the changes. See, the thing about intention is it starts with a decision. And that decision basically says, I'm cutting off all the alternatives, all the other ways that I could do this, all the other choices. Once you make that decision, you set an intention on the result that you want to have manifest, the result that you want to have. That result determines the actions that you're going to take. And when I was speaking with this client, I was explaining to her that actually this intention principle is something that you do every single day, but for the most part, for most people, is done not exactly intentionally. You may do it without conscious action. And that's because your subconscious is involved, and your subconscious has the job of automating everything that you're doing. So when you find that you've made a decision and you set an intention and you start taking action, the manifestation shows up without you really thinking about it. But what I want to be able to show you is that you can actually use that process to succeed in life, in business, in your finances, in your relationships, specifically by making a decision, setting an intention, taking action, and then the manifestation comes as a result of that. It's what I like to call the be, do, haves. You first have to see what you want to be. And then once you can see that, you make a decision that that's what you intend to be. And that result is already out there, so all you have to do is start taking steps toward it. That's the action part of it. And a lot of times, we will make a decision, set an intention, but then go left and take a whole bunch of different actions. And for this particular client, when she and I were talking, she realized that while she was making some decisions, she really was only staying in the space of choice. And the problem with that is that if you stay in the space of choice, meaning you have multiple options, then you generally are not cutting off the access to all the other alternatives, which is a decision. So when we talk about how you can succeed and not make a mistake, it's that part that starts with deciding to cut off all the alternatives and then setting an intention to achieve a result. Now, a lot of people would say, oh, well, that sounds like a goal, Dr. Jackson. That sounds like a goal. And that's what we do with goal setting. Well, actually, it's not. Goal setting generally is something that you made as a list of things that you want to do. Whereas what we're talking about is actually envisioning the actual completed objective in a way that it is visual. You've heard me talk about intentional vivid visioning, and that's specifically around taking the time to sit down and imagine the process. And that's how I like to say that the intention process really starts with the imagination. It really starts in here, where you start to imagine what you want first. Then you make a decision that that is in fact what you want. Then you set an intention to do that. And when you set an intention, that's where your attention starts to come in, and you start to focus your attention on the actions that you're taking, and that's how you have the manifestation that you're looking for. But most people make a mistake in that process. They make the mistake, one, of not getting a clear picture. They don't use their imagination to its fullest extent. You have to get really clear. So a lot of times you don't stop with that. You don't start with that imagination. You don't start with getting the clear picture of the relationship the way you would like it to be. You don't spend the time imagining how you're going to relate to this person, how you're going to be intimate with this person, how you're going to live a life and communicate with this person. So that picture isn't clear. So while you might decide to be in relationship with them, you don't have a clear imagined picture of what that relationship would look like. Because once you have that and you've made the decision and set the intention, then your intention will determine where your attention is going to go. And your attention is going to be focused on the actions that are going to give you the results that you want. And so if you don't do that, it makes it difficult to get the result that you want. So I want to have, some time with you to just think about deep work as going inside and really starting to develop really clear pictures of the belief systems, the habits, the behaviors. Even if it's on the business side, it would be the process, the procedures, the methodologies, the principles that you're going to put in place that are going to determine the actions, the way you operate, which is ultimately going to give you the manifestation of the result. It's the be, do, haves. And what do you mean? What I mean by be, do, haves is that who you are being determines what you are doing, and what you are doing determines what you will have. So if you've decided that you want to be a millionaire, and you've made that picture very clear in your mind, and you know how you're going to live, where you're living, who you're living with, what kind of money are you generating, all of those types of things, what kind of customers do you have. If you start to do that in such a way that it's visual, that you can actually see it in your mind, then you can decide to take the actions that are necessary to have that result. And here's the thing. When you make that decision, you set an intention to move forward, to move through those tasks. And that is what laser focus your attention. And so your attention starts to drill down into the actions that you need to take to get there. And the more actions that you take, get you there faster. So I like to think of it as the impossible equation. And the impossible equation has what's possible over here and what's impossible over here. And the more you take action towards that goal, the more likely you are to achieve it. But if you don't take any action, or if you take the wrong action, you could go left and go into a whole different result. So if you want to succeed in business and in life or in relationships, if you want to increase your income, if you want to change the processes in your company, if you want to have a better job, if those are things that you want to have, then you've got to be hyper focused on what are those deep belief systems that are blocking you, what are the actions that you need to take to shift that behavior, what are the things that you need to do, and start taking that action towards that intended result. And the more action that you take towards that, the better it will be. You can use the words deep work, meaning I'm going to dive deep to go inside and identify my habits, my beliefs, and my behaviors that are causing me to not achieve what I would like to achieve. You can succeed in business and in life and in relationships once you know who you are and you change what isn't working for you.